My name is William Lawson, and welcome to the Saxophone Factory. This is my comfy chair, and I wanted to spend just a little time talking to you. This is about something that happened to me yesterday. I had a student come in the studio, and I thought that they were, first of all, wanting to learn a song to play in church in the future, like Sunday or whenever. I didn't know when. And they had the track, and and the track is just the accompaniment, on their phone, and they had the book. So they played it, and it was good. It was fun. It was fun. It was fun. But what I didn't get this person wanted me to, and this is going to sound bizarre, teach them something. And some of you will go to a teacher and want them to teach you something, like a thing. Um, Vibrato. They mentioned that she went to a teacher to improve their sound, and their teacher offered to teach them vibrato, and she mentioned how to do it, and and uh, she can do the student who left can do a vibrato. Can do a vibrato. Now I think if I was her teacher, if I was their teacher, I would be teaching them when and where to use it, how much, how to control it. But from what they learned, it's just like a button. It's on, it's off. Vibrato should be on a slider, a little bit, and then a lot of it. But the student's vibrato is kind of on a switch, either on or off, which is exactly the point I was trying to get across to them. That yes, I can teach you how to do a thing, but learning when and where to use it, and they were like, well, that's on me, and I'll do that. It is not. It is not. Again, I did a video before about you think your teacher talks too much. They don't. Most teachers, frankly, a lot of teachers don't talk enough, because what they hear, the biggest complaint they hear is, well, the teacher doesn't let the student play. There's a balance. Sometimes the knowledge that the teacher has to convey to you, they can only convey to you in English, or they can only convey to you in the spoken language. When I was at Florida State University, Pat Meehan had a sign on his door that I saw it all the time, but I especially saw it at Fridays at 1 o'clock. Fridays at 1 o'clock, that was my lesson time. And the sign read this: check your ego at the door and enter in a teachable spirit. So, when you first see that, you think, well, if someone has an ego, that means that they think they're super great and wonderful and fantastic and they can't be taught. It means that, but it means the opposite too. It means that if you don't think that that you're ever going to be good enough, and you can't, there's no matter what, that's ego too. That's also ego. So the idea is check that at the door and enter in a teachable spirit. So when you guys go to it, when you find a teacher, now there are great teachers out there, and there are not so great teachers out there, I know. But when you go to the teacher, you open your heart and your mind to whatever they have to say. Especially if they're a teacher who seem to have had some experience. The best players don't necessarily make the best teachers. I know a lot of really good teachers that are really good players, no doubt. But the best players don't always make the best teachers, because playing and teaching are two different skill sets. Two different skill sets. The kids who are best in math were not going to make the best math teachers. They may make great mathematicians, but they won't necessarily be good math teachers. For the same reason. two different skill sets. We see it in business all the time, where the hotshot sales guy gets made to be a sales manager, and is a complete disaster, because what he can do is sell. What he can't do is help anybody else sell, right? So that's what we're doing here. Go to your teacher in a teachable spirit, open. What do you have for me today? Which needs to be your mentality when you go to your teacher. What do you have for me today? Take that in. Practice it. Work it. Attain it. And then, once you're working on mastery, go back to them and say, what do you have for me today? This particular student, I think, I got the feeling from, now I may be wrong. If you're watching this, I may have read this completely wrong. I might have. I'm wrong sometimes. But what they wanted to do is they wanted a quick fix to jump ahead of the line. My wife mentioned this. She said it that way. She didn't want to jump ahead of the line. She wanted to be taught something or told how to do something, and then she would be responsible for working out, and that would up the level. Well, it doesn't work that way, because it doesn't work in stair steps. It works in a slow, steady curve with plateaus, right? Everything builds on something else. So, I don't know, maybe other people are better than me. When you come to me as a student, I will assess where you are. A good teacher will do this. They will assess where you are, and they will build a prescription for your growth, not for the next thing, but for your growth, right? In steady steps that are paced in a way that they know students have been able to grasp. I hope I'm explaining this right. Again, when you go to a teacher, when you come to me, what I will do is I will, through conversation and some playing, assess where you are, and then come up with a prescription in my head to start with on how to get growth from you based on a number of factors. If you're an adult, how much time you have to practice. If you are a student in middle school, what middle school you're at. When your next solo and ensemble is. Are you participating in that? Are you auditioning for all county? Are you auditioning for all state? And the same thing in high school. Are you auditioning for college? What are you doing? Now, my job is to put together a program in my head of growth. Not just teach you this thing, this one thing, like how to growl. Teach me how to growl. This student also mentioned that they can also go to like Chat GTP, which we all know is the new fangled booty of the internet. AI is the newfangled booty of the internet, right? And she wanted to learn how to get a raspy sound. So what I did, and I'm going to include the PDFs in this video, so you can see my conversation with Chat GTP. I had a conversation with Chat GTP, and I asked about open chambered mouthpieces. Now, what we know is that open chambered mouthpieces are normally used for classical and solo work. Well, as you can see, Chat GTP got it wrong. Got it dead wrong. So when I corrected it, it admitted, oh, you're right, I'm sorry. So this promise, so this thought that this student had, that they could just go to the internet, they can go to some chatbot and learn what they thought they needed to learn instead of coming to a teacher. Not just me, a teacher, any teacher really, and being put on a program of growth, that was a better use of their time, unchecked. Well, I don't think it is. So anyway, to close up here, when you find a teacher, when you find a saxophone instructor or a flute instructor or a clarinet instructor or a recorder instructor or an accordion instructor, check your ego at the door and enter in a teachable spirit. Thanks for coming by the Saxophone Factory. Give you a chance to hang out on my big comfy couch. Hopefully we can have more conversations. Let me know what your experiences are in the comments. Let me know what your expectation of a saxophone instructor is in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Oh, I'm just gonna put that chat GTP conversation in the comments. That way you can see it. Alrighty. We're gonna get out of here and make room for somebody else. So until we see you again, keep practicing. Well, as you can see, there are immediately some things that are wrong. This can be partially beneficial for jazz, blues, or rock styles where a robust sound is developed. Increased projection, and what we know, if we play an open-chambered mouthpiece like a Rasher or a Caravan, what you don't get is more projection. That's exactly what you don't get. Flexibility in tone color, not really. Less resistance. If you've ever played one, you have more resistance because you have more mouthpiece to fill up. Suitability of reeds. It says that you could use softer reeds. Well, if you ever played an open-chambered mouthpiece, what you know is that you can't use softer reeds. You have to use harder reeds. This thing is continually wrong. And you can see there where I said open-chambered mouthpieces are mostly used in classical saxophone works, not jazz. Then I apologize for the mistake, right? And then later on, tonal qualities, even response, jazz and other genres. Jazz saxophonists typically prefer small or medium chambered mouthpieces, which offer more edge, projection, and brighter tone. I had to make the correction there before it would, because otherwise the information that was given was incorrect. Now I know these bots will often say, "Oh, I could be wrong," but people don't read that. So anyway, I wanted to make sure that you saw that this is what happens with some of this AI stuff, and please don't lend too much credence to it at this point, because a lot of times it's not just wrong; it's dead wrong.